Hi, this is Ashley with ASHMCC Crafts. I was just interviewed by Keith Andrew of the Keith Andrew Network, and he's doing some amazing things. Keep up the great work.
Andrew, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. That's right, the one and only Keith Andrew Network, 1,161 episodes. I'm here with the beautiful and talented Miss Ashley. She already introduced herself in the beginning of the video. So the first subject we're going to talk about is icebreakers. With that being said, tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
My name is Ashley. I am an artist, a visual artist located in Miami, Florida. But I'm actually from Los Angeles, and I've been in Miami for about 10 years now. And just started like really taking my business seriously full time about 2 years ago. So I've been traveling around the Miami, South Florida area teaching art classes as well as creating my own art. And I also wrote a book as well that I have for sale on Amazon. And I have art supplies for sale. So I do a lot of things.
So many great questions I want to talk to you about, and I would love to work with you. And I extend my hand to you in friendship. And for people who
Yay.
want to know, it's just not a liquor bottle, it's ginger ale.
We were wondering.
But hey, yeah, it would be interesting if I did drink, right?
Well, that would give your show a new and exciting twist.
I was told I make people drink, but hint of that, ginger ale, good for your stomach.
Much better for you. Yes.
Absolutely. With that being said, the next one I want to ask you, when you were in college, were you a study nerd or party animal? And what did you major in?
So I was an art student. So I was actually a workaholic. I was not a study animal because I had to work still in college. So I worked 3 jobs to pay my way through. I graduated with only like literally less than $5,000 in debt because I worked and paid everything. So I honestly, I think looking back, I just didn't sleep because I did do the parties. I had my fake ID. And so I went to all the hottest clubs in LA. I went to school in California where I grew up. So, I still had all of my friends. I was a dancer, so I was like auditioning and doing all sorts of things with dance. I was on the dance team at school. Plus, I was taking a full ride of classes all the time and then working 3 jobs. So I like honestly think I maybe slept like 3 hours a night the entire time. Took me 5 years, by the way.
No, absolutely. For me, I never went to college. And like I said, it's freedom of speech, self-expression. I fall under the spectrum of being retarded because I read and learn. I know that for people who are very sensitive, I apologize, but I was had that word shoved down my throat since I was a kid. Not making excuses, but because I'm not retarded. It says I fall under the spectrum.
Spectrum.
And for people who want to know what I mean, and I give you an example. Here's a list. We're gonna do a multiple choice. For you, you can do laps. You're beautiful, and you can do laps around me. Not kissing your butt, just being honest. But for me, for people who want to know, well, how do you learn? Pretty much, you will give me the paper. You would have to sit down with me, and you have to go over it. You have to break it down and explain it. There's multiple choice, A, B, or C. Can you give me an example of A? Can you give me an example of B? Because I learn at a slower pace and people don't learn like that, that's why I fall under the spectrum. I'm not capable of reading and writing. I can write a little bit, tiny bit. I can read a little bit if I'm the one who writes the questions. But if you
Hmm.
say, hey, go read this book, I'm gonna be like a freaking deer in the headlights because it's gonna be too much. I prefer audiobooks, but that's
Mm.
why, little about me. Anyway, this is not about me, it's about you. Just a little segue about me. Do you have any questions so far about me?
No, that's so interesting. I'm glad to get to know you more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have no cards up my sleeve. You can ask me anything you want. So the next one I want to ask you, you mentioned you were on the dance team. Now, who motivated you to become a dancer? And what were some of your favorite sports?
Well, my mom, she raised me. She's a single mom, and I had a great relationship with everyone in my family. It's just that she got an opportunity and we moved to California, and unfortunately, not everyone could pick up and go with us. So, um, yeah, so she started me with everything. She instilled a lot in me. And she almost went into bankruptcy, really, making sure that I can participate and experience all types of different like activities, sports, and classes. So I actually started dancing when I was 4. I did tap dance first. I wanted to be like Shirley Temple. So that's how it started. And then I danced until I was 20 something. I still go to dance class now. I'm 37 years old. So it's a part of who I am. So that is a sport that I like, but I also like all kind of related sports. So I would consider gymnastics and dance to be kind of related. I did gymnastics as well. So I love gymnastics, cheer, dance, anything like related to that in any way, obviously. A fun fact, I also played basketball for a short time when I was younger, like 8 to like maybe 12. So I used to like basketball a lot. Now I'm just like, I don't know what it is, but it's kind of like if after you watch the game so many times, I don't need to watch it anymore. And since I'm not playing, I kind of am estranged from it for the most part. So don't ask me my favorite team.
No, absolutely. And I'm a loser. The one thing I always wanted to do was one of those human pyramids, but I never got the chance to do one. Did you
It's
ever
not that great.
have you ever got the chance to do one?
Yeah, it's horrible.
What was your well now you're got me getting curious. What was the were you on the bottom, middle, or top, and what was the experience like?
Usually I'm taller than everyone, so I'm on the bottom. And even though people weigh a lot more than me, even though they're shorter, they get to be on top and then they fall on you. And all of their body parts hit you in the face, their feet, their butt, their elbow, like everything falls on you. It's miserable. That's the only thing that I didn't like about cheerleading. But I enjoy very much like watching competition cheer. That
I
is something.
always oh go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I just saying I enjoy that.
For me, I'm a big fan of Jumbo and Jumbo Buck. So I always do fan made parodies. I would love to have you be part of some if you're interested. And for an example, if I saw a video clip I like of two women talking, I changed the audio to gain a little weight, aren't we, honey? It's like you're no cream puff yourself, dearie. And I'm thinking, wouldn't that be funny if they actually had mics on while they're talking and performing the cheers and you actually heard what they were talking about? I think it'd be more, I mean, oh, that's mean, but no, it's fun. Don't take things personally. It's cartoony. People like that stuff.
I feel like that would be really great for like basketball or football where the audience really cannot hear what's
Right.
going on the field. And I bet those football players just talk so much trash, and I would love to know what they really say to each other on the field, you know? So that's a cool idea.
No, I agree. And then there's some baseball players. If you read body language, and they do yell loud enough, you do pick it up. But that's the one thing I didn't like about going to baseball games I never been to a football game. My dad said he went to one. He said never again. It was freaking horrible. And but you can't hear what they're saying. I really sit there with a radio, but then you have 1,000 people yelling, so it kind of defeats the purpose. But
Right.
it's funny you should mention that WWE. I'm a big wrestling fan, and tonight, nice segue. Tonight, it's Monday. Available soon on Peacock. Well, it is available on Peacock, but soon it will be available on Netflix tonight on the USA Network. It's WWE Monday Night Raw. And the new thing WWE has is the referees actually has the body cams. It's an earpiece with a camera. It's interesting, but it's at the same time it's oh cool. I can see it from your point of view. You see it from my point of view. But in a way, I miss the old ways, if that makes any sense.
The theatrics, right?
Absolutely.
Rather than the reality cam. Yeah.
So the next one I want to ask you, we're going to take a quick transition when we come back from this commercial break, we're going to talk about the coronavirus. When we come back from the quick commercial break, next subject I want to talk to you about, and then we can go to your artwork. How has well, let me ask you the two parts in one. How has the coronavirus impacted your life? And did it inspire you to become an artist, or were you an artist before the pandemic?
Yes, that's a really great question. Corona and the pandemic lockdown has changed my life, absolutely. Um, I was an artist long before that, though. I've been an artist since I was like 6 years old. That's actually when I sold my first painting. So I've been doing art for a long time. And like I said, I also went to school, college for art and everything. So I would say coronavirus, like the pandemic lockdown, was probably the best time of my life. I was working still for a furniture company, a very large scale local furniture company in all of South Florida, including Tampa and Orlando. And I worked for this company for all of maybe 6 years before I quit. So, uh, by the time we got to the pandemic lockdown, I had worked there for a couple years already. So that was like around the middle of my time there. And with the job that I had, I was furloughed. So I wasn't going to work, but I was able to get unemployment pay that everyone was entitled to. And it was actually more than my paychecks. And I was also staying home. And I had all of this time to kind of like really just be with myself. I was taking all of these classes. I was truly spending time in isolation. So I got to connect with family a lot more. It was fantastic. I just got to do so many things and I still had money coming in and it was great. But after that, things went back to normal at work and I started to kind of realize how almost abusive the work environment was and the workload, especially physically as a woman. What was expected of me was really just highly intense and very dangerous, and it shouldn't have been that way. It's a furniture store, I shouldn't be risking injury as far as I'm concerned. Other than that, I learned a lot for this company with this company. I won't like say the name because it's also very well known, but I made so many meaningful connections and learned so many things. But as a result of one of our new store openings out of town where I had to actually leave my house for a month, I decided I just couldn't do it anymore. And I quit and got a work from home job at a startup tech company. Well, then the startup tech company went under and they still owe me to this day $9,000. So that's like a whole other story. So that startup tech company went under. They're like promised to pay me the money back whenever they like get back on their feet, but who knows if that will ever happen, right? So in the middle of all of this, my business was birthed. Basically started off with writing the book and needed a way to promote it and my artwork. So I started just going out on the town to different markets in Miami. We have like farmers markets and pop-up shops and stuff. So I just showed up. If it was free, I was there. And but no one was buying my stuff. Nobody cared about my book. Nobody knew who I was. No one was spending money with me. So I had the idea one day. I was like, how can I get money now, today, from this? So I brought out a table, some chairs, and some art supplies, and I was like, art class, $5. And that's how it started. So it was a hit. And then in the first like 6 months, I like 10 times that the business I was like the income I was making just from the art class. So this last summer was like the hardest summer. This last summer in Miami was the first time things went back to normal from after COVID. See, in Miami, we didn't really have a lockdown, right? So people came here from all over the country and the world, and people are still moving here in droves to this moment from New York, Los Angeles, everywhere, driving up the prices of everything and making it crazy. And that was fine for the first few summers because we had so much business. It was so great. Like everybody in Miami was making so much money. But this past summer was the first summer getting back to like business, how it was pre-COVID. People aren't really in a rush to be outside like they were the past couple years. So it's been dead for me this summer. So now I'm in this new place of transitioning and marketing and doing like more social media and outreach, and we'll just see where it goes. I'm starting to get more traction. So sorry, that was so long.
No, this is your time. We like to hear it. The next, oh,
Yes.
go ahead.
So no, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. So yeah, COVID changed everything for my business, but I guess in a way it still kind of is affecting my business, but we'll see where it goes from here.
The next one I want to ask you is what attracted you to begin your art career, and what can you tell us about the pictures behind you?
Oh yes, well, um I guess I was always into art from the time I was a small child, I think. My mom has a love for art and I just grew up immersed and surrounded in it. And behind me, you actually see one of my pieces. This is like, I think it's called Moment of Happiness. I can't remember. I'm so bad. I'm pretty sure it's called Moment of Happiness. And I entered it in an art show in 2023. And it basically is just supposed to evoke a moment of peace and happiness on the onlooker and just cause like a moment of pause and reflection for those who are viewing it. But just like found a picture that I liked of a young African boy getting water poured over his head, and I really liked it. So I found this wooden pallet at the furniture store where I used to work. And I used to drive a pickup truck. So I threw it in the back of my truck, drove it home, and started painting on it. And this is actually watercolor on wood. And then I put a planter in it. So you can't see it now, but there's like a planter that I screwed into the back of it. And so when the plants are alive, I had an accident and the plants died, but I typically have beautiful green vines coming down with the water over his head. It's beautiful. For sale on my website right now if you guys are interested. And then this is a commission I still have to finish. It's actually this is a family portrait of a family I've known my entire life. So it was an honor to be able to paint them, but this is just the what we call underpainting. A lot of artists do that so they can prepare for tone and variation in their artwork. So when this is done, it'll be in like realistic skin tone, like natural colors. It will not be blue. This is just the underpainting. So,
Hey, I would love to work with you. I have some great ideas.
oh, on like a commissioned painting?
Oh yeah, I'm a big Dragon Ball. Maybe you can make a similar picture to what's behind you, the boy in the shower, but of me wearing Son Goku's outfit. I love Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball will always be one of my favorite cartoons. But that's imagine me wearing the orange and blue outfit. I think that would be really cool.
We can definitely do it. We can definitely work together. So yes.
No, absolutely. So the next one I want to ask is, what has been your greatest achievements and what are you working on right now? You mentioned you also wrote a book.
Yes. So I have it's not like an encyclopedia. It's not Pulitzer Prize winning work, it's literally a glossary book designed for beginners who are looking to get into acrylic painting who literally may not know anything about the topic. I have it available for sale on Amazon. If you have Prime, the Kindle ebook version is free. But if you don't have Prime, that's okay. I believe it's only $4.99. So it's available. I also have the paperback version, so you can see how I designed it and laid it out, and all of the imagery is really beautiful and the colors. So yeah, it's basically a reference book. And what was I gonna say? It also sells really well in Australia, surprisingly.
Now, are you like an author or like are you into ghostwriting or
I haven't had the opportunity, but I am interested in it, and I'm supposed to be working with a woman soon who is a journalist currently for Vogue. And she used to work for Vogue Italia, but now she's here in the United States, and she has a home in South Beach in South Point. And I met her at an event that I did in South Beach, and we just clicked. And so I'm hoping that I will get the opportunity to ghostwrite for her. She's writing her own memoir. So we'll see, I guess is the best answer.
yeah, absolutely. So the next question I want to ask you is, I want you to be brutally honest. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what made you say yes? How do you feel now? And would you recommend it to other people? Being completely honest.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I believe you asked me on a good day because typically I feel like I talked about this on the TikTok live when you were there, but like I feel so overwhelmed when people come at me like too fast with things and they're like, okay, let's sign up now today. So at first I wasn't really sure because I don't know you. So I was like, this could be a crazy person, asking me to be on their show. Or they could like attack me, or it could be like anything. That was my first thought. But then as I did more lives and you kind of showed up and we chatted, I was like, okay, he's an okay guy. He's fine. We'll be good. And so now I'm glad to be here with you. And yeah, I look forward to seeing where our connection grows from here.
And for people who are hesitant about being on my show, what would you recommend it to them?
Absolutely. It doesn't take too much. I'm a very busy lady, and this has taken maybe an hour of my time. So it's not so terrible. You
Yeah,
can do it.
absolutely. So the next one I want to ask you is how comfortable, well, this is actually a good question for you. How comfortable are you teaching people artwork and how comfortable are you teaching in front of a large group? Because we know
Great.
you do teach on TikTok, but have you eventually will you be comfortable in like a classroom setting or a large gathering?
That's a great question. I actually currently do that as we speak. So I host weekly art classes in person all over the city of Miami and sometimes Fort Lauderdale. But I also do private events, and I also do for schools. So I've had after school programs at schools here in the city. I've also done an assembly at a high school where I had 73 high schoolers painting with me at once. It was very exciting. So yes, I do a lot of large group events. I have a couple contracts with women who coordinate events at residences. And in Miami, that is like a bigger deal probably than it might be in a lot of places. But a lot of people have vacation homes here or they move here to retire. They come here to enjoy their life. And so when they pay these big dollars to live in these beautiful high rises on the water, with their high HOA fees, there's a lot that comes with that. And so they might have very exclusive, high-end, resident-only events at a lot of properties, including even places such as the Fontainebleau, which is very popular, as well as the Ritz-Carlton, which I will be working with shortly, I think in the next couple weeks. So I have made so many meaningful connections here, and it's really just been a blessing. So I've done a lot of large scale events, and it's been amazing. Even so much as being a part of music festivals too here. So,
Now, what's coming up on the horizon for you? And have you ever thought about working for Marvel Comics, DC Comics?
um, so coming up on the horizon, I'm basically gonna focus more on digital like outreach, basically trying to broaden my network through TikTok mainly, but also offering like digital products and online events like webinars and workshops. No, I have not thought about working for DC Marvel Comics because I'm not a comic book person.
Well, you have amazing talent. You'd be perfect for it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't even know because right now on this journey, I feel like my journey has been so unique and I just feel like I would find it tough to work for anyone right now. So it would just have to be a very specific situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a couple
Yeah.
questions for you off the air. But last one I want to talk about real fast, social media. How has social media impacted your life and how can our fans and viewers follow you? Was the last 2 minutes.
Absolutely. Social media has been a big catalyst in how I've maintained and established a lot of connections in my business. Instagram, I use from face-to-face interactions. I bring them to Instagram so they can stay in touch with me because I know it's not super common to just like text people at random and say, "Hey, how you doing?" all the time. So Instagram gives people I meet that first time in person a chance to really dive in and get to know me. TikTok, on the other hand, has just really just pushed me out, specifically to people who are like so supportive and like so hungry for content and it's really been like a blessing of a platform. I've made so many meaningful connections in such a short time. I mean, like my first few days really taking TikTok seriously, I went from 32 followers to 1,600 followers, literally in just 3 days from me just connecting, and everyone has just been so nice. So if you want to follow me, you can. I'm on IG and on TikTok as ASHMCC underscore LLC. Or you can search ASHMCC Crafts. You can also find me on YouTube. I have instructional tutorials on how you can paint, and that's also ASHMCC LLC. No underscore for YouTube. So come find me.
Yep, absolutely. And the Keith Andrew Network is available on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok. Our goal is to reach 500 and more views. And while you're here, I do want to talk to you off the air, but we're doing a special Halloween episode and Christmas episode coming up. I would love to have you be part of that. That will be October 19th at 8 p.m. and December 14th at 8 p.m. Definitely talk about that off the air. But with that being said,
Absolutely.
it was
I'm
a
like, because I
real
have to check my calendar.
absolutely. Now, with that being said, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. Looking forward to part 2, and until we meet again, I'll catch you later. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
and have a good night.
Joe, it's supporting me. My message is all that